Thanks for having me today. It is a privilege to be on stage supporting Google. They're one of our largest customers in the world. And at Intel, we're proud to be a technology innovator, and so when we get to work with partners like Google, we love to innovate, and together we're trying to build a cloud for everyone. Today I'm going to share some of the progress we've had in our decade and a half long partnership and share some of the results across artificial intelligence, machine and deep learning, IoT, and the cloud. So we're at the dawn of a new era, and I don't think any of you have missed this concept. The cloud is big, but we're not at the end, we're not in the middle. We're really still at the beginning of where the cloud's going. It's created a massive disruption in how compute resources are delivered and consumed. It's a new way of architecting for greater flexibility and efficiency and scale to support the massive workload growth. And the cloud connects millions and billions of devices and sensors to share and create new services and to generate more and more data. And most importantly, the cloud is the basis of digital transformation. It is changing how we shop, how we get our medical records and medical procedures. It's changing how we consume media, and it changes how we work. And without the powers and economies of scale that a cloud infrastructure and cloud service can provide, we wouldn't be able to keep up with this demand. So there are 4 things that we track that are driving this massive growth. And cloud as an infrastructure as a service is certainly one of them, but there's so much more. E-commerce, today only 18% of retail transactions, if you can believe it, only 18% are transacted over the internet. Going forward, this segment is going to grow at 21% by the year 2021 to be a nearly $5 trillion industry. $5 trillion of goods and services will be transacted over the web in just 3 years. And of course, all that online work comes with digital advertising. It's also growing at about 15%, and that's going to make it a $400 billion industry in the next 3 years. And that's because we are all online consuming news, watching programs, and streaming video, and some of us are even playing video games. Now, my favorite, though, is digital media and growth, and it's the smallest bucket for sure today, but it's growing at 25%, and it's driven because all of us are choosing to watch our video or stream and consume it where we want, on whatever device we want, anytime we want. And I can't even tell you the last time I watched a broadcast standard TV show because it's just so flexible. And by the time we reach 2021, 750 million gigabytes of data will be pushed through online video and media per day. That is 750 terabytes of data. So this is going to continue to get big and big. And along with it, we're also going to grow the business cloud. Google has infrastructure as a service, PaaS, and SaaS offerings that are growing at 22% in this market to reach a $300 billion industry in the next 3 years. It's based on an explosion of digitally native companies, as well as all those companies who are transforming digitally and creating tons of consumer and enterprise data. So we're at the beginning, as I say. Even though I've been doing public cloud, I've been doing it for 10 years, I still feel we're at the beginning of an incredible innovation. And this innovation creates nearly unquenchable demand for better and more efficient technologies and solutions in the data center. Many of these workloads that I just talked about, they're different than the workloads we've been supporting and building on. They require a different compute portfolio, faster, bigger, and cheaper memory and storage, and they need high-speed networks to be able to transact and process and move all of that data around. So we can't keep building data center infrastructure the same way and actually keep up with this demand. We have to architect differently. And businesses need to really justify the investment because they need to rapidly turn all this digital data into value for their bottom line and top line. So one of my favorite quotes, I have to work it in somehow into every talk because I just love this. You cannot solve problems, it's from Albert Einstein, I should say. You cannot solve problems with the same thinking that created them. So I'm going to flip that around a little bit and talk about opportunities. We cannot all take advantage of this opportunity that's at our fingertips with the same way of thinking we've had in the past. And that's what we challenge ourselves at Intel to do, to think differently about the technologies we create, the customers we support, and how we support them, and the solutions that we're driving out to the industry. So we base everything on transformative technologies. We are a silicon company, and you all know us for the leading processors in the industry, whether it's the Intel Xeon Scalable or our desktop processors. But we also innovate across network, storage, memory, accelerators, purpose-built accelerators. We have FPGAs, and we even have the ability to create completely custom silicon and ASICs for our customers when their workload needs it. And everybody also knows that hardware is only just a piece of hardware unless the software and application takes advantage of that hardware. And so we have hundreds of software engineers that go work side by side, and that's what we've done with Google, to not only just optimize the software to take advantage of the underlying hardware, but also to create new services. And we'll talk about one of those in just a minute. And the last thing we believe is to accelerate the market. Jevons paradox says if something is cheaper and easier to consume, people will consume more of it. And that's what the cloud is today. So we want to accelerate those opportunities for businesses. And you'll hear us talk about some of the joint market acceleration that we're doing with Google in just a minute. So I'm going to go deep now, and I'm going to invite somebody to join me on stage in just a minute, but I'm going to talk a little bit about our partnership. If you were here last year, I was on stage with Urs Hotzel, which was quite an honor to be, and we talked about our 15 years together of engineering and co-innovation. It started back in 2003, I joined public cloud 10 years ago, so this is slightly before my time, when Intel helped increase the performance of their processor. Google helped us by giving us in-depth performance analysis and access to information on their real-world benchmarks, not proxies, but their real world. We were able to then create a better product for them. And then just a few years later in 2008, this led to a collaboration on the first custom Xeon processor for Google in 2008. It was the Intel Xeon Processor 5600 series. And since then, we've created 6 generations of custom Xeon processors that are uniquely tailored to Google's workloads, which means people are going to get more out of their infrastructure when they use GCP. And most recently, 2 years ago, we announced an alliance. Google and Intel announced an alliance, and what you're going to hear next is really sharing the results of that alliance. So to go into detail on this alliance, I would like to welcome Partha Ranganathan. He's a distinguished engineer in Google Compute and responsible for so much of the technology innovation on GCP and their infrastructure. So Partha. Good to see you. I usually sit across the table and you're looking at me so seriously. It's nice to have you out here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm
Thank you for
not
inviting me.
as scared of you today. I'm usually, oh geez, what is he going to ask for today? But thank you for joining us, Partha.
Sounds good.
So we announced the alliance in November 2016, and it's been quite a journey. And for those of you not familiar with the alliance like I am, I would hope you'd all remember it, but probably not. It focuses on 2 things: enabling the technology innovation, deep co-engineering, and solving real problems across AI to cloud to edge and customized products. But it also has a market acceleration component. And this market acceleration is in the form today of a global sales proof of concept program, where Intel and Google actually work together and fund businesses to bring their enterprise workloads in and try out Google Cloud. So along those lines, Partha, let's talk a little bit more in depth. We'll talk about our past, our present, and the future of our alliance. So let's start with what we've done today. You were the first in the world to go into production on the Intel Xeon Scalable processor, codenamed Skylake. What's that done for your business and customers?
Sure. So before I go into that, I want to start off with one observation. Google and Intel have had a really long-standing engineering partnership in the space of data center innovation for a really long time. In the cloud space, we worked very closely with Intel to leverage Intel's early ship program. And we were able to offer early availability to Skylake for a lot of our customers for some pretty significant performance wins. So across a lot of different workloads, whether it's weather forecasting, machine learning, bioinformatics, financial modeling, our customers saw some pretty significant wins, anywhere from 20% to 40% improvement in performance. And if they were using AVX quite well, some of them even saw up to 100% improvement in performance, which is pretty great. But what is also very interesting is this whole approach to kind of getting technology to cloud early and Google first underscores really why our customers find Google Cloud so transformational to their business, right? Compared to the traditional approach of looking at general release timelines or traditional data center refresh cycles, coming to Google Cloud offers our customers the ability to get early access to some very disruptive technology way ahead of everyone else and at scale. And that's pretty significant. And in fact, by the end of 2017, last year, most of our customers across a lot of GCP regions were able to get access to the latest CPU technology. And in fact, Regine, we literally had thousands of customers running millions of VM workloads, all using the latest CPU for some pretty significant performance wins.
That is incredible, especially since a lot of that was before we had even launched the product to the general market. So thank you for that partnership. But it doesn't stop there. What are we doing today?
Yeah, so I think the Skylake engagement was kind of a very good foundational first step. And since then, we've been working pretty closely. In particular, we've been working on some really interesting code optimizations and some very custom business solutions that allows our customers to extract the maximum value that they can from Google Cloud. Do you want to talk about a few examples, maybe?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to put them into two buckets because we do a lot of work. The first is about really optimizing the Google Cloud instances, whether it's Google Cloud Engine or Google Kubernetes Engine. We do work so that we know that those engines are going to deliver right out of the chute a performance-optimized experience for Google customers. And I mentioned also that we can go further, that we can actually create new services. There was a very large customer that came to Google that said, hey, for data analytics, I want to be able to use Dataproc and Dataflow, and I want to be able to make sure that it runs, only on the Intel Xeon Scalable process, our current generation of product, the latest and greatest. So by working together, we've created that offering, and now it's available through Google Cloud.
Pretty cool. So, but we also did something with TensorFlow, didn't we?
We did. So that's the second bucket. So once you have this amazing optimized instance, which we all work very hard on, there's things you want to run on it and things that you use every day, like TensorFlow, very popular, and I'm sure most of you know this very well and use it today. It's an open source environment for machine and deep learning. So we did optimizations for TensorFlow specifically for the Intel Xeon Scalable processor. We got a 3x performance improvement in inference, which is amazing, as well as a 94% efficiency improvement on training on a 64-node cluster. So that's a lot of return for good work. Python is another great example that I think everybody's familiar. Once again, we did the performance optimizations, 21 to 23 times performance speed up on scikit-learn and Skylake, the 96 virtual CPU instance platform on GCP.
Wow, 20x improvement in performance, that's pretty phenomenal.
Not bad.
And so I think that's really the value of what we bring to the table here is not only do we have optimized Google infrastructure instances, but we also have optimized code all under the same roof. And this kind of phenomenal collaboration is basically why we have Intel won this award yesterday and Google Innovative Solution Infrastructure Partner Award. So congratulations, Regina.
Yeah, thank you. We're really proud to be voted in as a premier partner award for the Infrastructure Solutions Partner Award. And that means a lot of us. We're a silicon company. We don't create the big systems, but it's great when we work together and provide a lot of value.
Absolutely.
Now we want to shift to the future. If you read the blog yesterday or were at the Partner Summit, you heard a lot more about what we're doing on this groundbreaking technology. It's called the Intel Optane Data Center Persistent Memory. It's a very long string to remember, but remember this. It's going to break down walls for memory-bound workloads. Partha, you've been working with us for almost 4 years on this technology to bring it to Google. Can you talk a little bit more about it and the partnership with SAP?
Absolutely. This is super exciting. And as Regine said, we've been working working very closely with Intel for several years on this. And, but before I talk about this, I want to reiterate something I said earlier as well. At Google Cloud, we strive really hard to be the first cloud provider to bring cutting-edge technologies to our customers. And so in that vein, we are super pleased to announce this partnership with Intel and with SAP, where we are launching GCP VMs backed by the upcoming Intel Optane data center persistent memory technology. This is going to be kind of powered by the next generation Intel Scalable Xeon processors, codenamed Cascade Lake. And we're going to be running this for SAP HANA workloads. And so the benefit of this particular technology is that we now offer the ability to have our GCP VMs backed by significantly large amounts of memory, but without paying the cost of DRAM. Right? And the additional advantage is that this memory is persistent, which basically means that your data stays even when you kind of turn it off or reboot. And what that allows us to do is to dramatically reduce the startup times for our customers, especially those running large in-memory databases. And so the high order bit really is by taking advantage of this Intel Optane data center persistent memory, we now have our customers have the ability to scale up their SAP HANA instances. And when they scale things up, they get better insights, but without really compromising their cost structures. And so we're super excited about that. If more people in the audience are interested in learning more about these things, just feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to talk to you more about what we're doing with GCP VMs, SAP HANA instances backed by Intel Optane persistent memory for data centers.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a great partnership, and I look forward to working with you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Partha. So now we want to take this a little bit further. Both of our companies are deeply committed to broad proliferation of technology, as I mentioned. And we often work together with other partners to create even more services and new ways to reach customers and speed technology adoption. One of those partners is AppsBroker. AppsBroker is Europe's largest Google-only practice, a born-in-the-cloud Google Premier partner who's been delivering GCP solutions since 2007. Their leverage of our latest technology, combined with their deep understanding of GCP, has led to a really unique three-way partnership between the three companies. And we've opened up the first of its kind. It's starting first in Europe, but it's going to expand. The first of its kind Center of Excellence for Extreme Cloud Solutions. So with that, I'd like to bring out Mike Connor, who is the CEO of AppsBroker, to talk more about this capability. Good, you make it so easy. So the Extreme Cloud Center of Excellence.
That's my prompt.
Can you tell us more about this opportunity?
Working with Intel and with Google, it troubled us that you look at the high-performance computing marketplace, and you look at the size and scale of Google's investment in technology and network, and it baffles us why less than 1% of that workload is in Google's cloud. So working with a number of customers, we've tried to understand what some of those problems are, what are the friction points, and working with those customers, we came up with the concept of Extreme Cloud Center of Excellence, really to focus on those friction points.
Great. And so what kind of problems or opportunities are you unleashing in the center?
Well, I think the big issue is people suspect that Google can do amazing things for them on Intel technology.
They should.
How do you build that momentum up? So what we wanted to look at is every high-performance computing environment seems to have massive backlogs of jobs. If the backlog of jobs drops at all, more jobs join that. And you just think really in this day of sort of burstable elastic compute, and all this great technology in Google's cloud, why can't we fix that? So it's about benchmarking the ISVs. It's about proving out hybrid environments. It's about just dealing with each of the objections that are stopping the adoption of GCP and Intel technologies.
Fantastic. So I know that this has been going, and it's a really unique way to support enterprise cloud adoption and projects. Do you have a customer example that you can share who's used this to date for benefit?
Yeah, we work with a lot of large customers, but a customer that's been particularly successful, particularly in the data space, is Jaguar Land Rover. They've got some fantastic data scientists and an excellent head of data who just wanted to provide the best tools in the shortest possible time and controlled costs. So in terms of it starting as a project, there's now over 1,700 GCP properties live. And in terms of the time from a project being approved and funding being approved, it's live within a matter of hours rather than weeks and months, which was the previous on-prem paradigm.
So what do they do with all that extra weeks and months that would have been wasted while they now can do it in minutes?
Well, they just do more projects. They find more things to do, and I think if you've got all these incredibly creative people with great ideas, remove the friction, they start doing exciting things and storing more things and analyzing more things and coming up with more insights and solutions.
Great, and creating better cars, more fun features.
Exactly.
So I think this is a great example of what we can do when we combine technology, hardware technology with software and solutions and partners like AppsBroker to really break some of the obstacles that are holding back high performance workloads in the cloud. So thank you, Mike, for coming all the way from England to visit us, and I hope to see you again soon too.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Richie. Cheers.
So there's so much more I could tell you about, but I'm going to let other things do that for me. Please do visit us at our booth. We're in Moscone West on the first floor. We're booth 1211. If you walk in, just look to your left. You're going to see this big, huge screen, along with some really fun games that are based on AI with little robots. We have great giveaways too. You're going to meet our booth of dedicated experts that are there to talk about all of these things that we've done. And we can also point to, just this morning, there was an HPC performance optimization on GCP class that just had theirs, and you can watch the replay. And if you're interested in more about the edge to cloud stuff that we're doing on IoT, there's going to be a panel on that on Thursday. So please do stop by booth 1211, play some games, win some great prizes, and while you're there, learn a little bit more about the alliance that we've done and all the results that we've shared to date. So with that, I thank you for coming, and I'm supposed to ask you to please fill out your survey. If you'd like to fill it out kindly, I would appreciate that. If you don't, I won't take offense either. So have a great afternoon and enjoy the rest of Google Next. Thank you.